This universe is not just a stage. Every moment, every encounter, every emotion follows a law. We live within that flow, and now we begin to uncover its truth together. Welcome to the law of the universe, where your consciousness begins to awaken. A wise perspective on child education and inheritance. Today, many parents dedicate their time, energy, and resources to raising and educating one or two children, especially when a child shows strong potential. The financial burden of nurturing that talent can become substantial. This raises an important question for families. Should grandparents pass on their assets early to support the grandchildren's education, or should they retain them until the end of their lives for potential medical, caregiving, or retirement needs? To address this wisely, we must begin with a broader understanding of the roles of family, education, and responsibility in today's world. 1. Education and welfare should be the responsibility of the state. In principle, education should not be a personal financial burden. In Korea's ideal social structure, citizens pay taxes, and the government uses those funds to provide public education and welfare services. If properly managed, there would be no need for parents to invest heavily in private education or to support their children's development alone. For example, even military service could have functioned as a national training institution, equipping youth with real-life skills and values. But since such systems did not fully develop, the burden fell back on parents, resulting in stress, high educational costs, and overextended sacrifices. 2. Children are not meant to fulfill their parents' unfinished lives. In the past, preserving family lineage and continuing the bloodline was a social and cultural norm, but this era is over. We are no longer living in a time where we must rely on our children to complete what we could not achieve. Children are not born to live the lives their parents missed. Rather, each of us has come to fulfill our own mission in life. We must release our attachment to living through our children. 3. The 30-70 rule. A new balance of parenting. Parents should follow the 30-70 principle. 30% of their effort should go toward supporting their children's growth. As 70% should be reserved for pursuing their own life and personal fulfillment. In older times, parents sacrificed most of their lives for their children. But in the age of personal growth and maturity, this balance must shift. Supporting children excessively beyond necessity does not guarantee success. It may, in fact, hinder their independence. 4. The proper role of parents by age stage. Before age 21. This is when full parental support is essential. Physically, financially, and emotionally. Parents should provide care and guidance, not control. And ages 21 to 29. Parents should shift from directing to consulting. Dialogue is key. Parents and children must communicate and make decisions through mutual understanding, not force. Even if they don't fully agree, the process of discussion itself leads to greater clarity and growth. The age 30 and beyond, parents must step back. This is the time for the child to be fully independent. Continued interference, even with good intentions, can entangle both the child's and the parent's lives in unintended and negative ways. 5. Parents must complete their own lives. From their children's 30s onward, parents must focus on completing their own life journey. It is no longer their role to manage or support their adult children's lives. Those who came after Korea's baby boomer generation, who were born under the Republic of Korea and guided by a new era, must live according to this understanding, fulfilling one's own mission before passing on. This is the mature model of parenting and life. Support when necessary, let go when needed, and live with purpose and dignity. 6. Inheritance is not an obligation. It is the result of a life. Assets and wealth should not be passed down out of obligation or emotional attachment. Inheritance should be considered a result of the parent's completed life, not a child's entitlement. Premature or excessive transfers of wealth can encourage dependency, eroding responsibility and independence. Instead, support should be given with wisdom, at the right time, and only when it promotes autonomy, not entitlement. Conclusion. We must move beyond the belief that sacrificing for our children is the highest virtue. True parenting in the modern age is about nurturing independence, not dependence. Up to age 21, support fully. In their 20s, guide through communication. Gents in their 30s and beyond, Let go and allow them to live their own lives. Likewise, the question of inheritance must be guided not by tradition or emotion, but by the wisdom of timing, autonomy, and balance. In doing so, we honor both our children's future and the fulfillment of our own lives. Many parents today give everything to raise their children, but is complete sacrifice really the answer? The Master teaches, give 30% to your children. The other 70% is for your own life. Support them fully until age 21. After that, walk alongside them. When they reach 30, let them go and trust them. And inheritance? Love doesn't mean giving everything early. True love is knowing when and how to support their independence. Now is the time to stop depending on our children and to finish our own lives with dignity and purpose. So ask yourself, whose life are you living? Key summary: child education and inheritance. 1. Education should be a responsibility of society. Ideally, the state should provide education through taxes. But since that system isn't working fully, parents are forced to bear the burden through private education. 2. Children are not here to fulfill their parents' lives. In the past, people had many children to continue the family line. And today, each person should live their own life and not pass their unfinished goals onto their children. 3. The 30-70 rule for parenting. Use 30% of your effort to support your children and 70% to live your own life. An over-sacrificing for children can make both the parents and the child's life harder. 4. Parenting roles should change with the child's age. Age 0 to 21. Parents should fully support their children. At age 21 to 29, parents and children should make decisions together through open discussion. Age 30 plus. Parents should step back completely and let the child live their own independent life. 5. Parents must live their own life too. After the child turns 30, the parent's role is to focus on completing and enjoying their own life, not interfering with the child's. 6. Inheritance is not an obligation of love. Giving assets too early is not always helpful, and support should be given in a way that helps children become independent and responsible. Conclusion: parents should not sacrifice their whole lives for their children. Support them wisely, then let them go, while also living your own meaningful life. This is the story based on the above articles. A letter. After 30, on the morning of her 30th birthday, Soo-yeon opened her eyes to the soft sound of spring rain tapping against the window. A faint light filtered through the curtain, and a single message waited on her phone. It was from her mother. Happy birthday, Soo-yeon. You're a true adult now. I'm letting go of you today. Live your life freely. I love you. Though simple, the message carried great weight. It wasn't just a birthday greeting. It was her mother's way of saying, "You're free. I no longer hold on." Soo-yeon's mother, Jong-hee, had raised her alone since her mid-20s. At first, all she could think was, "I just have to raise my child well." But as years passed, she began asking herself, "Am I truly living my own life?" When Soo-yeon entered elementary school, Jong-hee returned to work and joined a weekend art group. One evening, she told her daughter gently, "I want to start living my own life, even just a little." At the time, Soo-yeon didn't understand, but with each passing year, those words grew clearer. Shati. In her final year of college, Soo-yeon faced a difficult choice. She had already been accepted into a major corporation, but a deep desire to study art abroad pulled at her. After days of hesitation, she finally confessed her dilemma to her mother. Jong-hee quietly set down her coffee and said, "First, ask yourself, does this path truly fit you? I can't support you financially, but I'll walk beside you through whatever you choose." It wasn't advice nor an answer. It was respect. It was a mother treating her daughter as an equal adult, ready to walk through life together. Motivated by her mother's trust, Soo-yeon applied for scholarships and juggled part-time jobs. Now at 30, she was back in Seoul, running a small art gallery. Independent, capable, but still a part of her carried guilt. She had become so focused on her own life that she hadn't seen her mother's solitude. That evening, Soo-yeon invited her mother over for dinner. On the small dining table sat warm soup and pumpkin salad, her mother's favorite. After they finished eating, Soo-yeon handed her a small envelope. Inside was a travel voucher and a handwritten letter. "Mom, I'm truly living my own life now, because you let me go. Now I want you to live yours. It's your turn to be free. Jong-hee read the letter in silence. Then she smiled and replied softly, now I finally feel free. Thank you, my daughter. A few days later, Jong-hee boarded a plane to Jeju Island, her first solo trip. As she looked out at the clouds, she whispered to herself, now I begin to live my own life. And in that moment, she understood. The greatest love a parent can give is the courage to let go. And the greatest love a child can return is the gift of freedom. Final note. A Letter After 30 is a story of quiet strength between a mother and daughter. A reminder that true love isn't in holding on, but in knowing when to let go. Are you ready to release what you hold and truly begin living your own life? What are your thoughts on parenting and inheritance? Are you still carrying too much on your shoulders? Share your story or opinion in the comments below.